This is Accsoon's Cineview M7 Pro, and along with the M7, they are the most impressive and feature-rich monitors I've ever used, and I've used a lot. It can do things that no other monitors that I know of can. These things are only nice to have if they were also great monitors, and they are. They're now my favourite ones, taking the crown from my now barely working Small HD 702 Touch. I've reviewed so many Accsoon products over the years, from their superb wireless video transmission products to their CMOs, which turn iOS or Android devices into full-featured monitors. The next step had to be a dedicated monitor, surely, and one that has built-in wireless capabilities. Well, that's what they've done. The M7 is a dedicated monitor, and the M7 Pro also has built-in Cineview-compatible dual-band 4K receivers, and there will soon be some firmware that will enable transmission for it. The only difference between the M7 and M7 Pro are the video transmission features. Whilst Accsoon has sponsored this video, I only agree to do these if I genuinely love the product, and I'm free to discuss any cons, as no product is perfect. The build quality is superb, featuring an aerospace-grade aluminium body with a 7-inch 1000 nit, high brightness, fully laminated 1080p touchscreen with an incredibly impressive 170-degree viewing angle. The screens are factory color calibrated to the highest standard for superb color accuracy, and also feature 1D and 3D LUT custom screen calibration. Both have SDI and HDMI inputs and outputs with cross conversion, and if needed, resolution conversion, and even frame rate conversion, both for physical output and, once it's enabled, transmission. You can power them multiple ways. The main way for me is dual Sony MPF batteries, but there's also a DC input and USB-C power delivery. There's a 5-volt output for powering any additional accessories on your camera, and an additional USB port which is used mainly for camera control, but could also be used to mount an external SSD. Why? Well, more on this shortly. There's even a headphone and mic socket. The headphone one is particularly useful for playing back clips, but you can also pair Bluetooth headphones to them. The cage and sun hood are optional accessories, but I strongly recommend them. The cage to have those extra mounting points and have that extra protection, and the sun hood, of course, for those really sunny days. And you'll need to have the cage to be able to mount the sun hood. On top, there are 5 physical buttons. 3 are user-assignable function buttons, the other 2 are the power button and the home button. Yes, home button, because the M7 and M7 Pro, actually I'm going to just call them M7s from now on, are powered by a custom version of Android. This is a big reason why they are unique and so feature-rich. At the heart of the monitor is the fantastic C app, as used by the CMOs and Cineview products. This is the slickest and easiest to use monitor interface I've ever used, and it pretty much does it all. The C app can record up to 4K at 60 frames per second in H.265 or H.264 with a maximum bitrate of 50 megabits a second. Whilst the HDMI feed is 10-bit and the screen is 10-bit, it does record in 8-bit. And what you set the output to dictates the resolution and frame rate of the recordings. The recordings are stored on the internal 32GB memory or the SD card, or even an SSD using that USB-C port. The SD card is all I need. SSD ability is nice to have in addition, but not necessary with the file sizes. Plus I'm using that USB-C for something much more useful. The quality of them is very good and can be used for on-the-go edits, especially for social media or giving to clients. The only thing it's really missing is timecode. Then you could use them for a proxy workflow, as the file names differ from what your camera records. You can stream, go live via the app, so you can upload your recordings whilst filming. To import your own LUTs into the app, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. Yes, really. I pop them into a LUT folder on the SD card and then import them directly into the C app. I've set the F1 button to toggle waveform on and off, and F2 to toggle the LUT on and off. This is a really quick and easy way to check your log image while recording. I recently had one of my Sony a7S IIIs converted to full spectrum infrared, and LUTs are essential to have while shooting with it. There's only one infrared filter that I have that actually represents what the footage will be, and that's the IR Chrome one. The others all require some quite heavy color work, and with the high spectrum IR filters, you want black and white. I took the camera and the M7 to Richmond to test them out, mainly using the strong 850nm filter. And I use one of Alistair Chapman's S-Log3 to black and white 709 LUTs. When shooting infrared, especially with this filter, you need to be shooting at the worst time of day that you would usually film in, a high and very bright sun. Now 1000 nits is pretty bright, but I would have liked the screens to be even brighter, so I wouldn't need to use the hood. The M7s have internal fans, so they won't overheat. Not something that can be said if you're using an Android or iOS tablet or phone for monitoring. If you're using your internal mics at a camera, or even a non-camera mic, then you will pick up the fan when it's kicked in when it's very hot, but otherwise you won't hear it. As I said earlier, the M7 Pro currently only functions as a receiver monitor, but will soon have transmission capability added. This will make it a fantastic solution for rigs where space is tight, but of course as an affordable all-in-one solution. On my Sony FX6, thanks to Accsoon's V-mount adapter, the Cineview Master 4K integrates beautifully. But for other rigs, I really want the transmission built into the monitor, as that will be fantastic. In their latest firmware update, Accsoon added camera control for certain Sony and Canon mirrorless cameras when connected to the M7s via a USB-C cable. You get the main settings, shutter, ISO, aperture and white balance, a record button which triggers both the camera and app recording, and if you press here you go into autofocus mode where you can do touch tracking or spot focus. With my Canon R5 Mark II I can see the tracking box, which is great, but for Sony cameras and how they work you can only see the focus area markers. Accsoon are going to add more camera control ability in future firmware updates. Because the M7s run Android, you can sideload other apps, and this opens up a huge amount of future potential for them to be more than just camera monitors. I installed Sony's monitor and control app, which lets me do much more camera control when it comes to the settings and also the autofocus. You'll still need to go into the camera's menu to access a lot of things. The image you get on the screen is all through the USB-C cable, you don't need the HDMI. And it's not bad, but it's nowhere near as good as what you get on Accsoon C app. It's lower resolution, 8-bit, and a low bitrate. You can see here just how badly the S-Log3 image falls apart with the LUT on, but it's a really nice thing to have, and you can have them both running at the same time and switch between them. But it means you won't be able to have camera control in the C app. Sony's app is nice for autofocus, but for manual focus, no peaking and not as high resolution, no, I'll definitely use the C app. This isn't officially supported, but it works and I haven't seen any issues because of it. Considering how good they are and all their features, it is surprising that they don't have high-end monitor price tags. For such a relatively small price difference, the Pro is the one I would recommend most people should go for. The M7 and M7 Pro are really gorgeous and very impressive. I've used monitors with built-in wireless transmission before, but never something that feels so slick and feature-packed as these. But let's not forget the most important thing. First and foremost, they are truly fantastic monitors.